How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to showcase my caster Bing. This is a Spellburst Ice Lance Bing here. Let's go ahead and I'll showcase him on the dummy here. This is kind of in the budget setup for the build, or I guess fairly budget. This is probably maybe 10 to 15 FE still, something like that. Damage is coming in at a little bit lower than what the Gemma build comes in at low, but you'll see here, I mean, you're still getting decent damage. This is just with, at level 84, this is just using Spring Resurrections, things like that. The biggest difference between this build and the Gemma build is if you look at the life that I have on this character right now, I'm sitting at 3,000 life, and the tree on this is incredibly tanky because you are running Druid on here, which has some incredible defensive layers on it. You'll see here, like you reserve or you restore 30% missing life when you take a severe injury, things like that. You have you regain life and ES at the same time whenever you're getting regain, and then just we have a lot of chances for double damage. So the way that this class works, or what makes Bing so special, is that for Bing itself, for every 100% cast speed that you get, you do throw an additional bomb. This effectively turns all modifiers for cast speed into a more multiplier, more so than it would on any other build. And then, of course, your additional cast speed also gives you additional damage as well. So whether it's additional cast speed or just percent cast speed, you are getting a big increase in damage. For the hero, relic, and memories, the biggest damage increase that you can be getting are these 18% additional damage if there's an elite within 3 meters. And then there's like up to 18 or 16%, I believe, on these ones as well. I didn't buy very expensive ones. I wanted just a little bit more survivability on this character because I am trying to focus him into being able to do T8 stuff, or T8 bosses, T8 Traveler, Path of the Brave 4, etc. So you can see here I'm just using a mix of defensive and offensive things. For the gear itself, you're basically just trying to get cast speed on everything. So you can see here I basically use Mask of Calamity because it has base cast speed on it. And then you can roll cast speed on helmet as well. I didn't end up doing it. I did end up needing res here because I got pretty unlucky with the way that I was crafting my gear. I hit a little bit too much fire res instead. Same thing, you want res on your chest. I just ended up going with an avoidance chest just because you get some base avoidance with Bing, or you can get some base avoidance and some hero memories, so I've been doing that. For the necklace, I just went with a +1 cold necklace, got some base ignite on there so that I could continue to use Boots of Synthfire just for some extra damage. For the belt, you're just using Elemental Whisper. For the gloves, you can run Marksman's Bracers, which is going to help with mapping. The Realms is just a good decent damage early on. You do eventually want to be rotating both of your rings into these chaotic endings with +1 max agility blessing. If you can get the 16% cast speed on there with focus blessing, that's a bonus as well. There's a few of them up on the market right now for 3 to 5 FE, but I know that may change. And then you can use Spring Resurrections early on until you can start to put more funds into this build. Once you do start to get funds, one of the things you do want to focus on is you do want to be upgrading to Sage's Insight Gloves. These have cast speed, and they're basically going to give you your 30% Ellie pen as well, and a +1 to elemental skills. For your rings, you are going to end up rotating your rings again into a second chaotic ending. Here, that with max agility blessings, I got lucky on this one. I was able to buy one with cast speed, projectile speed, and agility blessing. I only ended up paying like maybe 8 FE for this, so it was still pretty cheap overall. For your belt, eventually you'll just need to get something with a little bit more resistance. So I did rotate into that, and then I did end up crafting myself a couple of wands. As you can see here, let's go ahead and swap these both back on. And I'll showcase my damage here with my actual setup here. This looks right now. So let's go ahead and showcase basically where my damage is at here at level 84. So one of the things is the Ice Lances does get 50% additional damage based off of a Frost Terra being on the ground. You can see here at level 84, I'm a little over 100 mil DPS right now. This will get a little bit higher, and again, this is going for a bit of a defensive setup. Oh, it looks like we do get up to about 140 mil right now. So I'm going for a bit more of a defensive setup. You can see here again, 3100 life with a bit of avoidance. If you look at the actual avoidance I have right now, I am sitting on, what do we got here? 25%. I think you can get your gear up. You can easily get it up to like 35% or higher if you will want to. You can get a evader, you can get it on chest, but I just ended up wanting to run this chest so I get some extra life whenever I evade, things like that. But my gear is still pretty janky. Like right now, instead of having a crit percent roll on my wand, I'm having to run a cold res just because I'm low on res. Let me go ahead and show you a map so I can showcase kind of where we're at here. With this, I did already do T7 Traveler on this one, as you can see. So let's go ahead and do a Demi-Man Village here. Let's go ahead and even buff it up a couple times here for extra damage, or for some extra loot rather, since we have the double currency roll on this. So basically how you're playing this build, kind of similar to the Gemma, you're basically just using Frostblink. You are getting resets with your Ice Lances, and Ice Lances themselves, they do get to take benefit of Spell Burst. So you are basically just trying to utilize Spell Burst. Oops, I just realized I had the thing on here, which is for bossing, this quick processing. It makes you throw bombs faster, but it does make it to where your projectiles can't jump. For mapping, you want to use Dangerous Runaway. I would pretty much only change it to this for Traveler. Outside of that, you don't need to change it to that. You can just leave it on this Runaway thing here. And this is going to be just Malice Executioners here. I wonder if this is a map where they did end up turning all into Malice mobs, because, oh no, everything's dropping almost still. So you're just bouncing forward, throwing your mines down. You can manually pop your mines with F, or you can just leave them down. It doesn't matter. They will blow up 1 second later if you don't blow them up manually with F. But you do get extra damage the more mines you have down. So sometimes it's better to just let them auto drop themselves, but a lot of the times I'll just end up holding F anyways, just to do it. I think Juice on this map definitely made it a little bit slower than normal, but as you can see, the build is still pretty fast, relatively, and you have nice defensive layers. So this is a build, I think I've only died on it maybe one time while leveling, and I think I died once on Traveler because I ran counterclockwise instead of clockwise. But other than that, you can see, I mean, the damage is pretty good. This is T7. I level 82, and I basically just deleted the boss instantly, so... the build is coming along. The damage is there. I think I'm maybe at 60 FE into it so far, maybe. 70, something like that. For your Divine Slates and everything, you're pretty much just trying to get as much cast speed on everything that you can. Cast speed, and then you want to take advantage of Spell Burst. So as we see here, we just have some Spell Burst charge speed, extra Spell Burst, some sealed mana here. We do end up wanting to get this +1 skill level, and then we want to get this HP, or this max life, and ES. These will be like the last points that I'm getting here as I push into the 90s, or push towards 95. I will basically be filling out this tree here, getting the +1 to spell skill level. Possibly the Focus Blessing, but probably not. Most likely out of that, it'll just end up being more damage or more defenses if I end up feeling like I need a little bit more life or ES. So as you see here, we're just running these two, the one for damage and for max spell burst. So we're running Beacon, we're running Insight. For Elementalist, we are doing the standard, we are running Translucent. This is basically, this is only 20% more damage, but there isn't anything else worth taking here. I mean, we can take Adaption if we really want more defense, but it's kind of unnecessary, so this is fine. And then we are running Peculiar Vibe. And then for Druid, we are running Cultivation, which is giving us, when we're able to spam a lot, this is end up hitting cap here, so we are getting our whole 45% cast speed off of this. And then we are running Nowhere to be Found, which is +2 agility blessing stacks. With the rings that we have on, and there is a 4%, there is a agility blessings grant 4% cast speed mod for divinity slates. With that, along with the things on the tree, you are getting 14% cast speed per agility blessing. So you really want to be stacking agility blessings on this because it's basically 14% more damage per agility blessing that you get. Here you do have some agility charge generation from here. We doubled this up on the elementalist just over here as well, so you have an extra source of agility blessings and tenacity blessings as well. And then for the druid tree, again, you're pretty much just taking damage and you're taking some defenses. On the elementalist tree, you're doing the same. This talent right here is what ensures the translucent is going through properly, and this is what ensures that you're able to get those ignites with your Synthfire boots. You can run any other boots. Synthfire boots aren't as, I guess, good on this build as they are on the Gemma build, but I'm using it for now because I haven't found anything better to run yet. As here I got a little bit of mix. I took a little bit of regain and a little bit of res because my gear is still bad. For the divinity slate, you are just pretty much looking for attack and cast speed. This is the slate I was talking about before, where you want this 4% cast speed per agility blessing. I think I bought this for 5 FE, something like that. So, well within budget. This isn't going to be a budget build like Gemma. You can basically enter at a low level, but I highly encourage you kind of invest some money into him. There's going to be better things out there if you're trying to stay full budget the whole time, but it looks like the scaling potential of Bing is going to be out there, and I will be following up with that in a future build. Let's also cover the skills that I have here. So I am running Ice Lances here with Psychic Burst, Freeze Chance, Efficient Cast, Wind Projectiles, and Cold Pen. For my Compound Potion, I'm just running the standard stuff with Berserk Residues. For my Frigid Transmission, this is all just trying to pump up the Ice Lances. So Periodic Burst, Psychic Surge, and then Magic Dash. You just want extra charges on this so you can have higher uptime on Periodic Burst since the cast speed is so big on this build. Frost Terra, this is basically just, you can run this as a one link. Like if you're low on energy, just run this as just base Frost Terra. You don't need to run Ground Divide or anything else. This does just allow me to cast it or keep it up a little bit more often to ensure that it's always under bosses if I'm doing things. You got Blurry Steps here. I'm just running it with Mass Effect, extended duration and cooldown reduction. I'm just trying to ensure that I basically have high uptime on Blurry Steps. Same Curse on Hit setup with Biting Cold and then Magical Source reserved on life because I don't have mana for it. And then for your things here, you're running Summon Thunder Spirit because this attack and cast speed is a more multiplier for this build, so you can run this and save yourself some sealed mana. And then Elemental Amplification is going to be your best option because you're not always nearby, so you don't want to be running the other one instead. This is going to come out ahead of Frigid Domain because Frigid Domain requires things to be near you, and you're not always going to be near things because you can throw your mines out ahead and let them blow up out ahead. And then we have a Euphoria on Hit setup. The precise Euphoria on Hit, the only difference that I've noticed with it is it's slightly higher cooldown recovery, and then it basically refreshes them all for mapping. I ended up just getting this as a drop. I don't even know how expensive it is. I have a normal one as well, but it's probably pretty cheap. So for this, because we are running the Thunder Spirit, you are able to run Elemental Shock, so you can get your minus 24% Elo res from that. And then you have your standard setup of Fixate, Mana Boil, and Secret Origin Unleash. Yeah. Other than that, if you have any questions, then leave them in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I will update this build as I continue to push on it and invest into it. And I will let you know what we get to. And hopefully I can get some T8 bosses down with this. See you in the next one.